Hey, welcome everybody. Coach PK here. So, just real quick, my background as an engineer, highly qualified yoga teacher, certified triathlon teacher, health coach, etc., etc. This series is going to be in multiple series, multiple videos. We're going to be talking about kind of different levels and why we want to work on strength and shoulder balance. So this video is inspired by a friend of mine. She is struggling with shoulder health, pain here, which is very typical because of improper swim form. Get your swim form looked at. Core strength, lack of core strength, bad posture, and a big one that most people don't think about is side sleeping. Side sleeping, you go like this, fascially, everything gets tight in here and really sets you up for problems in the pool. So we're going to go through a lot of things in this series, but in this one, this is going to be a take it away, get yourself to the gym. Here's the things that you need to do and master. So I would challenge any triathlete, go through these exercises and see if you can do them well. Step one is all about the back side of the rotator cuff. Okay, when we say rotator cuff, we need to be thinking about it as a big complex thing. When you get an MRI and some doctor says you have a strained rotator cuff, that means zero. What does that actually mean? The rotator cuff is comprised of a lot of stuff. A lot of soft tissue components, and so we need to be a little bit smarter with this as triathletes, and this series is intended to help with education and give you some clear, very safe things to do to go out there to have healthy shoulders. Who doesn't want pain-free shoulders? Some tips on habits, the strength move that you need to do 2 or 3 times a week, and you could do this at home as well. And what you can do to help improve your swim, be faster, maintain endurance by strength. If you can't get to the pool, if the pool is closed, this series is going to cover some of that too. You don't have to always be in the pool to get better at swimming or to maintain swimming or to change your swim stroke. You can do it in the gym or at home as well. So let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy. Hey, yeah. Whether you're recovering from an injury or want to investigate just having stronger shoulders, the first thing that we need to do, and this is specific for swimmers, triathletes, runners probably as well. If you have any roundedness in your shoulder, this is going to be applicable to you. So we'll get into this further in some of the other videos, but what we're going to be talking about is this guy right here. He's on the back side of the rotator cuff, back here, infraspinatus. And so what we are going to do with this first exercise that you're going to see coming up is very specific. In shoulder health is about learning how to turn the front side off and use the back side. So this rotation of the arm out, so like this, okay, is all done in the back. Okay, it's done with the infraspinatus, just dumbing it down a lot. And so this first exercise, all of these exercises are generally meant to be lightweight because stability muscles will work by themselves with lightweight. And functionally, this is kind of what tweaks all of this stuff in your shoulder, because your shoulder blades just sit on there. Then the only bone contact point that they have is right up here, your acromion process. And generally, most of us have probably messed that up to some degree, okay? So the shoulder blades, they will move around in all sorts of ways on your back. What we want to do is we want to get them in control of them. We want to bring them down and in, not rolled forward. So like this. So when you do your swim stroke and you've got your catch pull that you're going to work on, okay, your shoulder blade stays down on the back and not rolled forward, so we don't make this section right here very angry, which most of us have some form of bicep tendon, tendinosis, tendinitis, yada, yada, yada. Okay? So this first exercise, you need to do these kind of in step, but this first one is a warm-up for any time you're using your shoulders. And if you wanted to go swim, this would be a smart one to do as well. So step one. This next exercise, it can accomplish the same thing as the first exercise as well. It is a foundation exercise, the reverse fly. The key here is to understand that you are using the back side of the rotator cuff, this action, okay, with minimal activation here. A lot of the times in the gym, I have got to repeatedly tell people, turn this off, turn this off, turn this off. Kinetically, this is where the shoulders kind of get real in a bunch, and sometimes it's hard to make swim stroke changes because kinetically, we have these kinetic firing habits, and a lot of the time, we will, under stress, turn these on, the scalenes on, pulls things this way. We drive, we mouse. Kinetically, we like to go like this, and we like to use all of this, and this is what gets us into trouble a lot of the times with the swimming, because the bicep tendon, everything gets pulled over until the brachial complex and stuff goes sideways, okay? So when you're doing the reverse fly, okay, ladies, you want to feel like you're sticking your chest forward. You want to use your neck flexor to keep your head like, you know, so in line with your spine, and it's bringing your shoulder blades together in the back with your rhomboids, and hopefully down, not with your traps, but down, back like that, okay? So these should be off, this should be off, okay? So that would be kind of a standing, bent over reverse fly, and it's very lightweight. I would never go over 5 pounds unless you are completely confident that you have everything put together in your shoulders and you want to build muscle. 5 pounds is good for if you just want to maintain very nice stability. And again, these exercises need to be done if you're swimming a lot. Ironman swimming, half Ironman swimming, 3 times a week, if not more. And this is fun. You could do this at home. Easy peasy. Okay, so this next exercise is a single arm row. Okay, and I'm going to go through kind of some important pieces of the single arm row. Remember that generally when you're doing things, your feet are always you're real firm on the ground, your knees are slightly bent. On the single arm row, when we're bending down a little bit, we don't want our back flat. We want to be up at about 45-degree angle. You want the hamstrings to be completely quiet. You're not stretching the hamstrings. You're not feeling anything in the back, in the lower back. You want to have a lumbar curve, a lordotic curve in your lumbar spine, okay? So, and you also want to grip the dumbbell on the outside like this, okay? So not like that, like this. And that'll force you to do the activity mostly with the back of the rotator cuff and deactivate the front side. Start with a lower weight to get the action right. We really want to focus on this action of drawing the shoulder blade towards the base of the spine. So this kind of action, okay? Just keep in mind how good your back's going to look if you go to doing this. So start with lower weight, get the action down really well, and then increase weight. The next exercise is a double arm row. I'm using a cable machine, and so I'm using both hand grips. I put both hand grips on. There are other things that you could use for this as well, and there's specific machines for this. I like the cable free weight because I'm adding core strength into it as well. I'm sitting back a little bit, engaging my core. I'm keeping my chest up and just using my arms, sinking down a little bit like in a squat, so it puts a lot of core work in it as well. I'm not rocking back and forth with my torso or anything to help provide help for my arms. And so, maybe starting with 30, 40 pounds on the pull machine, someone that's stronger could probably get up to 80, 90, 100 pounds. But start lower, start 30, 40 to get the mechanics right. It's all about the mechanics on this, and you don't want your head jutting forward. You still want to kind of have this nice, strong action with your neck. And that's so key a lot of the times with the biking. Our traps and stuff would be a lot happier if we supported our cervical neck spine with our neck flexor, but we don't. We droop. How many times do you see someone doing a plank and their heads droop down, or you're on your bike and your head's droop down? That's why your back of your neck hurts. So this next exercise is a pec fly or rear delt exercise. It's going to be more of this. It's a good machine to use because it will force you to isolate the rhomboids, the stability muscles that we are wanting. Again, lower weight. And then notice when the person that's doing the video, she has her arms either straight or bent, okay? So explore what that means for you with your back. You really want to focus on learning how to activate the back side of the rotator cuff when you're doing these activities. She's got the stop in the front. Okay, good. Ready? Yeah. Can you do it with your arms bent now too? The next activity is doing a row with a barbell. You could do this with individual weights as well if you wanted to. The key here again is to not have the back completely flat, have some space in your back to have that nice lumbar curve and have your legs slightly bent and nicely planted, hip distance apart. The way we are grabbing the barbell on this one to really isolate our back and to use the back side is you want to have your hands together and your thumbs in, not grab the bar but in like this, and then so the backs of your hands are towards your legs, okay? So the next activity is a very important activity for everybody, triathletes, runners, is the deadlift. Done right, it can really help strengthen backside. It can fix a ton of hip problems, hip flexor problems, etc. But it really does need to be done right. The feet need to be hip distance apart or a little bit wider. When you're using the weights, the barbell, it travels very close, if not touching the front part of your legs. And a key point, you really need to understand this, especially runners, if you have tight hamstrings, you will not go all the way down to the floor. So using stairs or the step up blocks to bring that up would be really important because you don't want to do something funny reaching down to get it to hurt your back. And you need to not think that you're not doing it right if your hamstrings are tight and you can't go all the way down to the floor. Okay, so pay attention. Anytime you're doing weight bearing, you have the weight in your hand, you're picking it up, your legs need to be square. So if you have them on the ground, you need to bend your knees all the way to get it up. Okay, don't keep your legs straight and jack up your back. You always want to, and this is why a lot of weightlifters look in the mirror and why there are mirrors in the gym, to make sure you have good form. So the form is the legs slightly bent, the feet are hip distance apart, a little bit more maybe. And when you bend down, you keep your lordotic curve in your back. Once your back flattens out, once that curve flattens out in your back, you have gone too far, because now you're in your sacral area, you're messing with your hamstrings, you're hanging out on your joints instead of using the muscles to activate it. So you only want to go so far down as you can keep that nice bend in your back. Okay? The reason why this one is in here is because swimming and running and everything, we're trying to put all of our core together. And so the back of the rotator cuff going down into the back, into the glutes, the hamstring, that sacral area, all of that is key. And if that is strong too, your swim is going to be better, because the swim is about trunk rotation to be efficient, putting the whole core together, body balance. The hamstrings, the glutes, all of that back work, the back rotator cuff is all included in what it takes to have good body balance on both sides. Real quick note on the deadlift. So in this activity, there's a deadlift, and I do that a couple of times. That's just straight deadlift. You want to master it. You want to be good at it. I added some pulling up with the bar as well, just as since I'm there. But I'm using my arms only. Don't use momentum with the deadlift to help bring it up. Okay? But if you're doing a deadlift and you want a little bit more with the arms and you feel strong like that with the amount of deadlifting weight that you're lifting, and your arms can do that as well with good form, go ahead and do it. The next two activities still continue with the backside rotator cuff. The tricep press down with the cable is kind of one of my favorites. Always make sure that you can look in the mirror to see where your form is at. You want this nice straight body line, and you only want to be using your triceps. Okay? And then I added a second part where you're kind of pulling the weight down with the whole arm. Make sure that the chest is always lifted, that you're not letting the shoulders round forward. And it's a really good lat workout and kind of whole general back rotator cuff workout. Thanks a lot for that. So the last workout in this step one sequence of strength work for stronger shoulders, healthy shoulders, is back extension. And then I added a little bit more with using 25-pound weight and pulling that weight up to my chest with the back of my arm. So another version of a row, but the weight is also adding to the back extension part. So if you've struggled with SI issues or lower back issues, or have tight hamstrings, you want to be cautious of this one. This is a good one to do, but it can make your back mad. So if your SI is not in correctly, this will make it hurt worse because it's going to tighten that whole area. So that being said, the back extension in this, the way this one is you really only want to come up to your back here or a little bit up, but not all the way up. Don't arch your back. Don't hyperextend your back. Coming up level to the floor is good enough. And then you can bring the weight up, as you see that I do in this exercise. This is kind of the final, put all of this together. This whole routine, I have designed this to put it all together. Okay, there's a lot of back work. There's other back work that we'll do, but this is step one. This is kind of the foundation strength that you want. And remember that all of these exercises, they're not going to really go up in weight once you have them mastered. So they're for the stability muscles and whatnot. Okay? So back extension. So that's it for kind of step one, the first strength exercises that you want to master for strong swimming arms. And these really aren't optional. I don't know very many people that shouldn't be doing strength work for the shoulders at least 3 times a week. The beauty of this exercise is it only takes 15-20 minutes, and most of them you could do at home. So if you couldn't do all of these, you could figure out how to have bands at home or not do that exercise. But you can figure out how to have, 30-40 pounds of a barbell that you can lift up. If you want to have strong, healthy shoulders for triathlon for a long time, you don't want to have pain, you can also use this to help with increasing speed and performance. Stronger is always better. If you have a good stroke and you're stronger, you'll be faster, okay? Or you'll have more endurance. Either way, you can do these exercises as well to build endurance, okay? It's all about strength. Some of these exercises are very similar to what you would use if you were doing swim drills with paddles. So this is step one. You want to master these, and soon in the future, there will be more anatomy lessons, as well as, steps 3 and 4, 5, how to do more gym-specific works that really mimic the swim stroke. Okay, so dry land activities to kind of be swimming when you can't swim. So, hope you find this useful. If you have any questions, visit me on my website, bonniekissinger.com. Go have a great day. Namaste.